A Republican congressman from Oklahoma, yay, Oklahoma. I swear we're getting...
Oklahoma, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's a shitty state. Recently said in an interview that soldiers who don't want to deploy will pretend to be transgender in an attempt to avoid combat duty. And he also says that openness about gender issues will hinder readiness within the military. So we're talking about U.S. Representative Steve Russell, who is a former soldier. Go ahead.
Did he watch MASH? Is that his point of reference for this? Because I feel like he saw one episode and then he thought Klinger. It worked out for him. Yeah, he thought it worked out for Klinger. He thought it worked out for him. Like he's like, yeah, that guy definitely got sent home. That coward.
And if he was watching MASH, he didn't watch it very closely because Colonel Blake and Colonel Potter didn't have fuck all to do with that craziness. Like even him trying to eat a Jeep bit by bit didn't fucking work for Klinger. So. Yeah, I watched that show a little bit too much growing up. Oh, let's see. Great. It was a great show. Anyway, so Steve Russell, a former soldier who says that he commanded 1,000 soldiers in a task force in Iraq. You didn't command 1,000. You commanded people that commanded those 1,000. So he began this interview by saying that the new trans regulations, which were imposed by the Obama administration, which actually have been put on delay thanks to the fucking Trump administration, jackasses. Anyway, so we're too confusing, in air quotes for commanders. He was being questioned by Tony Perkins. Yay, we know all about Tony Perkins of the Family Research Council, who I keep having Twitter wars with, and he doesn't take the bait ever. I'm sad. Fucking fight me. Fight me, Tony.
Come on.
And this is his quote here. He says, "These training vignettes that they have and the proposed training policies are very, very problematic on moral conscience. This is a concern for all Americans, Tony, because our taxes are being asked to be used not only to further this, but to also do surgeries, medical treatments, and transitioning protocols. It's called medical care, you fucking idiot." It's not something that they're... transition...
They don't like medical care for women. They don't like medical care for women. They don't like medical care for cis women, and they certainly don't like medical care for trans women.
I find
it... you know that's what they're thinking of. I know that there are females who need to transition to male. I know that's a thing. I know. But you know this asshole is only thinking about boys and dresses.
Yeah. And he's probably also thinking of the whole, how are they going to do that to a perfectly good penis? And they're like, it's like, it's not about your dick. It's not about yours, man. Like, there's a lot of guys, and included in a lot of people that are in the cis culture, and that even the allies, I wouldn't say they have a problem with the thought of the surgery happening. You know, the gender, what the hell is it? The gender affirmation surgery.
Affirmation. You're right.
Yeah, and so when they start looking, I look at this stuff because I've always been medically minded. I've always loved looking at procedures. I watch like the Dr. Pimple Popper kind of videos because it's like I'm fascinated that the human body does shit like that. And then when I watch these videos on how something like this happens, where they make a penis into a vagina kind of thing, and I watch these stories of people going through that, I'm like, that's amazing. That's fascinating. But nope, not these guys. Tony Perkins and Steve Russell are probably like doing the whole crossing their hands over their junk and be like, oh God, ew.
These guys probably don't neuter their dogs because they're like, balls, right? Though
it makes him more. It makes him more of a man. If you can't take away his manhood, it'd be like, it's a dog.
He doesn't have manhood. He's not a man.
And I don't want to get off on a weird tangent there, but there was somebody passing around a meme earlier this week about people getting pissed off because other folks are eating bacon or something like that. I can't remember what the joke was. And some guy came into this other person's Facebook comments and was talking about how, oh, so I guess the pig screaming and blah, 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 all this sadness and all the cured meats and everything. Why don't you eat humans that have been cured with salt and, hung out to dry? And I'm like, Well, A, if it was legal, and B, if it didn't cause a spongiform encephalopathy, I would try it. And they're like, "Oh, you want to be a cannibal?" I'm like, "There's more human meat on this planet than other animals. I think we need to start eating our own."
I feel like that's some high level troll in there, guys.
Yeah, that was fun. I had a good time with that one. Okay, so let's see. Another problematic training scenario that Russell brought up is that a soldier has completed Army gender transition from female to male. Oh, so they do go to FTM here. So, as indicated in the department enrollment system, the soldier did not have a sex reassignment surgery and recently stopped taking male hormones in order to try to start a family. Today, the soldier approached his commanding officer to discuss his newly confirmed pregnancy. For most of the people in the world, not a big fucking deal. But unfortunately,
okay.
be like, yeah,
I'm not sure what the problem is.
Be like, I'm a male that has a vagina and I'm pregnant. Like, okay, that's how that part works. I don't know what the big fucking deal is. And Russell's like, this is fraught with confusion. No, it's not, dude. It's really
okay,
not.
So then you would treat them as a female who's pregnant, or how about this, as a male who has to have medical exemption.
Yeah.
You know, like an injury.
Yeah. How about that? Oh, so let's see. He says that based on his repeated emphasis of the word his, that confusion seems to stem from the fact that someone who prefers to be called him instead of her could become pregnant. You know, yeah.
Who the fuck cares?
Me, as a formal battle commander, probably former is what he meant to say there, of 1,000 soldiers in a task force in Iraq, I've served in combat in Afghanistan and the Balkans. Did we go to war in the Balkans?
Well, I mean, okay, but if a female comes to you in battle and says, I'm pregnant, you're like, oh, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to be doing that.
Right. So then if a male comes to you and says, I'm pregnant, the answer is, oh, you're in deep shit.
Exactly.
That's it.
This is something that will really cause a lot of confusion and problems for commanders. It does nothing to promote our military and readiness. Nothing at all. It would absolutely hinder readiness. Now you've got a construct where soldiers who don't want to deploy can throw this monkey wrench in the machinery, and you're underwriting it with tax dollars.
No. Okay. So I had a brief moment where I was like, okay, let's think about this soberly. Let's think about the process of transition and the effects on their ability to be ready, because transition is a lot. It's a lot about emotional undertaking, and not saying that it's bad. It's just that's a big step.
It's a lot. It's a huge chunk.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, if we're talking about that, but then if somebody gets cancer, if somebody needs medical treatment, then you go on non-deployable status.
Treatment, yeah.
Yeah, they go on non-deployable status. You don't pick them out of the military.
No.
They just get their treatment, and then when they're done with their treatment, then they have to qualify again. And if they don't get up to snuff, then that's when there could be consequences, like if they don't meet their fitness regimens and stuff like that.
Well,
that's all.
Thankfully,
that's all above code. And then if they're deployed, they're probably not going through transition.
Yeah, probably not. They are on hormones, probably. I mean, I would assume that, because if it helps you get rid of the dysphoria you would feel. So hormones aren't exactly, I mean, okay, it is transition, but it isn't, the transition that they want to say, where, we're talking about the orchirectomy, and they're talking about the, I don't remember what the other scientific word is for penoplasty. I don't remember what that is. That could be close, but
well, to non-gender it, top surgery, bottom surgery.
Yeah. So that's exactly the thing, is that we're not talking about people that are like over in the middle of Afghanistan and be like, I want to get out of here. I need bottom surgery. That's probably not going to happen.
That they would be like, are you going to die tomorrow?
That's not going to work right now. Once you get off of this rotation, we'll see about that when you get back to wherever you are. Because
exactly.
Newsflash, they don't have, Walter Reed style hospitals like in the middle of the fucking Afghanistan. We don't have award-winning VA hospitals and stuff there. You don't have great fucking medical places. I mean, I've worked in military medical places. They're not that amazing. It's not something you'd want to get done in the fucking field of Afghanistan or, out in wherever the hell we're going to be deployed next because, another war's got to be coming because Trump.
And I mean, yes, the military is really backwards on mental health issues.
Yeah. I suffer from that myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I mean, there are a lot of service members who don't get like their PTSD treated properly because they're afraid of their security clearance, and they should be because the system's fucked.
Yeah.
But
when your job is incumbent on, not going and seeking healthcare, necessary healthcare, which we've learned in this world from other countries because we haven't learned it from our own fucking country that, you need to have access to mental health care. You need to have access to regular health care. You need to have these things in order for you to be a healthy person. Not in this country. If you go see somebody for counseling, automatically flagged for like all these fucking databases for things they could find. If you were to happen to have like a bad day and they go and find out that you sought treatment or something like that, the DA would use that to fucking nail you against the wall. So
yep.
We have it backwards in this country, people. We don't have really a rehabilitatory system. We don't have one of those at all. We have a punitive system.
It actually turns out that like all humans kind of just like all humans get sick with colds, we all go through mental health issues that sometimes they don't need active treatment.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time they would benefit from it. Just like if you have an infection and you need antibiotics, or if your knees are achy and you go to physical therapy.
And you just need some Motrin. They have Motrin for your brain.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually do. Turns out that you can get anti-anxiety meds that are as needed. You don't have to do they only work if you take them for 3 weeks and then you have to no. There's as needed anti-anxiety that are not numbing. Did you know that's a thing?
Yeah,
that's a thing.
Amazing. And I was gonna say, go ahead.
So my only thing is, what I would see happening more than not, because the military is so backwards on mental health, what you would find with trans people is that their security clearance would be at risk, just like service members with PTSD or other mental health issues. Their security clearance would be at risk, their ability to deploy, and so these trans people would probably put off transitioning by choice and it doesn't matter how affirming or if there is policies, and there would be some who would take advantage of it, just like there are service members who take advantage of the mental health treatment and stuff like that. But
we took advantage of dental when I was a kid.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's one of those things. Like, I'm sure there would be people who would.
Yeah.
It's just my guess is most wouldn't even get into it. But what this could do is somebody who has already transitioned could get in. Yeah. And there would be policies set in place for that. And I think that is really, really important.
Oh, and these people, if you talk about Chelsea Manning, boy, they just get a fucking conniption. Like the vein behind their eyeball just busts and they're like, I don't know how to process this shit. So anyway, we're not saying that all people that are trans, because we all know, or at least we should all know, that not every one of them wants to have a bottom surgery. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people are just fine being a male and having the female parts. There's a lot of people that have no problem with that stuff, but that's not here nor there. I'm just trying to say that these people have it so fucking wrong where they think that every trans person wants everything that every other trans person has. Like, doesn't work that way, guys. There are these non-binary people, there are non-conforming people. These
men love their penis so much that they could not understand somebody hating their penis.
Yeah. And that kind of thinking needs to just go away. And like,
forever.
Now, please take it away.